This video is looking at examination technique and focusing upon your analysis and your explanations. This video is for GCSE, it's for the AQA award, and it's for Unit 1 and 2. With analysis and explanation, there are different ways of doing it. This video will just look at perhaps some approaches, some hints and tips that I think that will work. Okay, you might be doing something else that works for you and it results in the same outcome, which is fine, and you can just carry on with that. The depth of your analysis and application is going to come up throughout the exam paper. It could be a 6-mark question. Explain one benefit of staff training and explain one disadvantage of staff training. Okay, those types of questions you need to be analysing, you need to be explaining, you need to be given depth. A tough question would be a 4-5 marker which says explain one cash flow solution. So you're then having to do one point which is fully developed and fully explained. Okay, this print screen is from the mark scheme. It's from a 9-mark question. And it just highlights that analyses either or both production methods in context. So I assume that this question was about what method of production that they should use. So for you to get the top marks, you've got to analyse your points, and again, based upon the previous video, it's got to be in context. Okay, so this video is just looking at analysing, but without the context, again, you're going to struggle. I'm guessing, hopefully, you've heard me say the phrase, right, analysis, explanation, and you've heard me go on about what it is. You must be doing it within your answers, okay? If you're sat there going, well, I'm not 100% sure what is going on about, basically with your analysis, it's sentences which link together, which develop upon a point that you've made. Okay, so this again is from the exam board. Question being, state and explain 2 benefits of targeting her ironing service at a market niche. So again, linking back to our context, they're an ironing service. Okay, you've got to make 2 points, 2 benefits, and then you've got to explain them. So what are the benefits of targeting your ironing service at a market niche? You don't need to define anything, you just go straight on it. So Monique will have less competition. Again, Monique, there's your context. That's a point that you're making. Okay, you then have to explain it, the effect that this has. This means that you can charge a higher price. So as a result of having less competition, you could charge a higher price. This because many of our customers will not have an alternative. They will carry on using a service and paying for the higher price. So with this particular answer, you make your point, you link it to Monique. She can charge a higher price. As a result of having less competition, you charge a higher price, and then what's the benefit? So the point has been made and the effect has been explained. In terms of a structure, this is what I would suggest. But again, if you've got a series of, if you make a point with a series of sentences, linking it, explaining it, you'll be absolutely fine. It's where you go for lots of points which are undeveloped of where you're going to have the problems. Okay, so this is what I would advise. You make your point, so what will it mean? This is a different question, and it's looking about having a website to sell their products. They currently have a website, but it's not very good. You can't sell products online. So the improved website will allow out and about to sell products online. So there's the point I'm making. So the improved website will enable them to sell online. So then what's the cause? So what will this result in? This means out and about will be able to sell to more customers all over the world. What will that result in? All over the world, it will result in out and about limited of achieving their aim of increased sales due to the convenience the website provides. So the structure is you make your point, you then say what this means, and then you develop it. So the point is you can sell online. This means you can sell all over the world, and then what's the result of being able to sell all over the world? Okay. Again, just going back to my previous video about context, um, it's got the name of the business. It refers to their aim of increased sales. Within the case study, they're trying to achieve increased sales. So the website being able to sell online will hopefully increase their sales. Okay, so you're looking for 2 or 3 points. 2 or 3 sentences, lines rather than breaking up the sentences about 1 point. Okay, it's a chain of analysis. It's a chain of argument, which will get you the top marks. I do think in terms of the hints and tips it is a little bit clearer with the analysis. Okay, you need 2 or 3 sentences which link and flow together. I maybe actually wouldn't even break them up into sentences. I would just have 2 or 3 lines with 1 point, which you then explain, and then you say the result of that. Okay, it's very much this cause, so this means, and the effect, what it results in. So the question could be, explain the benefits of having a motivated workforce. Staff will stay there longer. There's your point. This means that the business will have lower staff turnover and much more continuity. This will result in lower costs because staff are not continually leaving, which means that you don't have to pay the advertising costs, the recruitment costs. Okay, so you're always looking at what the cause is and the effect of it, what it will result in. Okay, really, really important. Avoid phrases like secondly, in addition, also. The reason being is that it looks to the examiner that you're then making a separate point. You need, as I said, 2 or 3 lines which flow together. Okay, so you might say, right, you might be looking at, okay, why should a business chase up suppliers for payment? You wouldn't want to explain, okay, if they chase up the money, they get it quicker. Then also, by chasing up the money, it just breaks it up. Then you haven't got the continuous flow. Okay, what you need. Really, really important is avoid, where possible, generic analysis. What I mean by this is, okay, if you advertise, you increase your sales, which will lead to more profit. Okay, you must be clear how the increase in profits will happen. Okay, so for example, that question might be saying, by advertising more, it will result in greater customer awareness. Customer awareness will mean that businesses within the local community have heard of it, will be aware of that particular business, and will visit more. Because of this increase in awareness, because of this increased level of sales, it will result in more profits. So you need to say how the profits will come about. Again, with anything, still remembering the context. You're effectively explaining the context as your analysis. Okay. Last point, really important. Never just list lots of advantages and disadvantages. It's not going to work. Okay. Very much less is more. On a 5-mark question, which says explain one benefit, you've got to explain it in detail. Okay. You can't make separate points. And for you to get the flow right of that is really, really important. And the wording of it will be important. This means, this results in, this leads to. Not using lots of full stops, not breaking it up into, in addition to that, they could also. Okay, because that hints that you're making another point and it's just not going to work. Okay, so as a summary for analysis, a chain of argument where one point leads to another point, which leads to another point. Okay,